Fight Club is a movie that actually begins from its ending.
People are always asking me if I know Tyler Durden.
3 minutes.
The film opens with the narrator sitting in a room with a gun in his mouth. The narrator tells us that bombs have been planted in nearby buildings and that they are about to explode. He knows this because Tyler knows it. At that moment, there is no one else in the room with the narrator except Tyler. The narrator then explains that Tyler and everything that has happened is connected to Marla Singer. Interestingly, the narrator is never given a name because he represents every man, someone who is unhappy and depressed. He suffers from insomnia and feels completely unmotivated in his boring routine. To find relief, he starts attending support groups, pretending to be a patient with serious illnesses like testicular cancer. By expressing his emotions in these support groups, he finally begins to sleep better.
Nothing happened. I let go. Lost in a...
This becomes his comfort zone.
And she ruined everything.
However, his comfort is disrupted when Marla Singer starts attending the same support groups. Like him, she is also an imposter. After Marla's arrival, the narrator's insomnia returns because her presence constantly distracts him. Eventually, they talk and decide to divide the support groups between themselves, promising not to attend the same ones. The narrator works at a large car manufacturing company. His job is to minimize the financial losses caused by defects in the company's cars. In simple terms, if the company produces 1 million cars in a year, some of them are bound to be defective for one reason or another. These defects can lead to accidents, and sometimes people lose their lives. Jack works using a specific formula. First, he calculates how many cars of a particular model the company has produced that year. Then he multiplies that number by the probability of those cars being defective. After that, he multiplies the result by the amount of money the company would have to pay to the families of people who died in accidents. If the final amount is less than the cost of repairing all 1 million cars, the company chooses to pay compensation to the victims' families instead of fixing the cars, no matter how many people die because of it. For the company, a human life is just a number. Jack often travels by plane for accident-related investigations. Whenever there is turbulence during a flight, he finds himself wishing that the plane would crash and that he would die. But that never happens. One day, the narrator's boss sends him on a business trip. On his return flight, he meets a soap salesman.
Met Tyler Durden.
Did you know if you mixed equal parts?
They talk, and Tyler explains that even household items can be turned into weapons. This shows that Tyler's way of thinking is completely opposite to the narrator's. When the narrator returns home, he discovers that his apartment has burned down and everything he owned is destroyed. Among the ashes, he finds a phone number, Marla's, and calls it, but hangs up before she answers. Instead, he calls Tyler, whose visiting card he had earlier received. At first, Tyler doesn't answer, but soon the phone rings again. The narrator explains everything to Tyler, and the two finally meet properly. Through their interaction, we begin to understand Tyler's perspective on life. Tyler believes that a house and the things inside it are just objects. According to him, people forget what real life is and spend their entire lives chasing luxury. In doing so, they turn themselves into nothing more than consumers. His way of thinking is completely opposite to the narrator's. On one side, there is the narrator, an ordinary man, just another face in the crowd. On the other side is Tyler, a man who doesn't care about money, comfort, or social status. After spending some time together, the narrator mentions that he now needs to find a hotel to stay in. Tyler tells him to be honest and speak freely, without fear. He encourages the narrator to simply ask if he can stay at his place. The narrator finally asks, and Tyler agrees to let him stay at his house. Before leaving, Tyler says something strange.
Can I stay at your place?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah, sure.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
What?
I want you to hit me.
After this moment, the narrator gives us more insight into Tyler. He explains that Tyler works various silent, part-time jobs as a projectionist and as a waiter. Neither of Tyler's jobs are interesting, but the reason he does them is very different. In one job, Tyler secretly inserts a clip of adult film into family-friendly movies. In another, he works in restaurants where he deliberately messes with customers' food to disturb them. In both industries, Tyler works with the sole intention of creating chaos and discomfort. Tyler asks the narrator to hit him because he wants him to step out of his comfort zone. After their fight, the two sit together, drink beer, and feel relaxed. This moment marks the beginning of their friendship. They start living together in Tyler's house, which is run down and isolated. Every day, they fight to release their stress. Eventually, other men who leave bars late at night start joining their fights. The narrator realizes that he is not alone. Many people are depressed and searching for something meaningful in their lives. Slowly, the number of people increases, and Fight Club is officially formed in the basement of that bar. One day, Marla calls the narrator, asking for help because she has overdosed. However, the narrator does not go to save her. Tyler does. After this incident, Tyler and Marla begin a relationship, which the narrator strongly dislikes. The narrator then blackmails his boss so that he can collect money for Fight Club and quits his job. Over time, Fight Club spreads across the entire country, and people from different cities begin joining. Tyler forms a team from the Fight Club members called Project Mayhem. The narrator is not included in the decision-making of this group. Project Mayhem begins spreading violence everywhere, which deeply disturbs the narrator. When one of the team members dies during a police shooting, the narrator tries to stop the project. He travels to every city Tyler has visited, trying to shut it down. But wherever he goes, every member addresses him as Mr. Durden. Confused, the narrator insists that he is not Tyler. When he talks to Marla about this, even she calls him Tyler. That night, in a hotel room, the narrator finally realizes the truth. Tyler is not a separate person.
Wait, Marla, I'm not there!
You broke your promise.
Jesus.
He is another personality of the narrator himself.
Crap, Tyler, I don't understand this.
You were looking for a way to change your life. You could not do this on your own.
The plan of Project Mayhem is to destroy major financial buildings with bombs so that no one remains trapped in debt or careers. The narrator tries to tell Marla the truth, but she becomes disturbed by his split behavior and refuses to believe him. When the narrator goes to the police for help, he discovers that even the police officers are members of Project Mayhem. He tries to stop the bombs from diffusing. A final fight takes place between the narrator and Tyler. Tyler takes him to the top floor of a building where Tyler holds a gun.
Interesting. Where you going?
The narrator realizes that the gun is actually in his own mouth. When he pulls the trigger, the bullet passes through his cheek. Because his mind believes he has committed suicide, Tyler's personality dies. Some members bring Marla, who has been kidnapped, to the narrator. The narrator and Marla hold hands and watch as the buildings collapse. Tyler Durden was only a personality created to lead Marla into the narrator's life. Tyler represents the part of the narrator that he always wanted to become but never could. The narrator is calm and soft-spoken, while Tyler is rough and aggressive. The narrator dislikes violence and crime, while Tyler's mindset is criminal and rebellious. Tyler's character feels so powerful because he represents a version of ourselves, the person we want to be, someone who refuses to be crushed by society and hates the system. Even if his methods are wrong, his mindset and openness feel dangerously attractive. With this, the story comes to an end. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell.